will never back imperialists to subvert our democracy, to subvert our sovereignty. It happened during the period of struggle. It will happen even now. We will never forsake our country, which we fought for its liberation. And we're still marching on even now.
South Africa has always presented itself as a champion of justice and human rights. But behind the speeches, our leaders protect dictators, embrace oppressors, and stay silent when allies commit atrocities. This isn't diplomacy. It's compromise at the expense of principle. There was a time when South Africa's voice carried real moral weight. Mandela confronted oppression without compromise. Mbeki brokered peace, built bridges between global north and south, and elevated our nation on the world stage. Back then, ANC's decisions were guided by values, not politics. Foreign policy lifted South Africa, and today, it drags it down.
South Africa's foreign policy has been based on what our forebears inscribed in the Freedom Charter in 1955, when they declared that South Africa shall be a fully independent state which respects the rights and the sovereignty of all nations.
In reality, the ANC, led by Cyril Ramaphosa, has made South Africa a pawn in the games of authoritarian powers. It sides with Russia, as its invasion of Ukraine killed tens of thousands of civilians, displaced millions, and destroyed thousands of homes, schools, and hospitals.
Human Rights Watch arrived in Bucha just 4 days after Russian forces left the area.
The streets of Bucha are littered with evidence of violations and apparent war crimes. Civilians have been killed.
Were found in a mass grave beside this church, where town officials had buried people after the morgue had filled up. Funeral home workers told us that the bodies showed signs of torture. Among them were women and children.
Drones and ballistic missiles are striking civilians. Russia seeks to erase Ukraine's sovereignty, language, and identity, redrawing borders by force, just as empires once did in Africa. This isn't just aggression. This is colonialism in the 21st century. Despite this, Pretoria lays no case at the ICJ, no referral to the ICC, and offers no condemnation. Meanwhile, it targets Israel. They say, our foreign policy is grounded in the pillars of Pan-Africanism, anti-imperialism, international solidarity, respect for international law and human rights, non-alignment, multilateralism, and the peaceful resolution of conflict. We reject neocolonialism, unilateralism, and the forms of domination that undermine the sovereignty and dignity of all nations. In reality, it sides with brute power, abandoning principles, excusing atrocities, and selling out justice for political gain. In Iran, women are beaten, jailed, or even executed for minor acts of defiance. Thousands arrested, public floggings, and brutal crackdowns reported regularly.
On September 13th, a woman named Mahsa Amini was detained by Iran's morality police for improperly wearing her hijab. She was loaded into a van where she was reportedly beaten and then transferred to a detention center where she collapsed and fell into a coma. 3 days later, she died at the hospital and protests broke out.
Just recently, on October 12, 2025, General Mapwania met Major General Abdul Rahim Mousavi and General Hatami, who emphasized that Iran and South Africa are united by anti-colonial, anti-arrogance, and justice-seeking principles. South Africa has a prioritized place in Iran's foreign policy. General Mapwania said, "The Republic of South Africa and the Islamic Republic of Iran have common goals. We always stand alongside the oppressed and defenseless people of the world." This is ironic. Iran oppresses its own and is a known backer of terror organizations like Hamas behind the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, killing over 1,000 people and kidnapping civilians.
Palestinian militants began taking hostages in towns near the border with Gaza. Many hostages were taken back to Gaza and driven through the streets.
Hezbollah, decades-long record of bombing and assassinations. The Houthis disrupted global shipping and terrorizing civilians in Yemen, as well as kidnapping. Instead of condemning Iran, South Africa embraces it, with the ANC frequently meeting Iran. The ANC also claims it will not be dictated to by business. President Cyril Ramaphosa said,
"Say that business does not dictate what happens. One in government does not dictate what happens in the ANC that I lead. We take our own decisions based on our considerations of everything that will advance the interests of our people."
Yet, when the party was reported as struggling to pay its bills, it suddenly had the resources to pursue a case against Israel at the ICJ, precisely at the time when reports suggested Iran may have proved financial or political support. This raises serious questions about independence. While the ANC publicly claims to defend human rights globally, Iran praises South Africa as a prioritized partner. Every handshake and visit strengthens a regime that oppresses its people, sponsors terrorism, and destabilizes entire regions. On March 27, 2025, Fikile Mbalula, ANC Secretary General, speaking at the Democratic Nursing Organization of South African Congress, declared the United States continues to display fascist characteristics, reinforcing outdated racist ideologies and acting as an architect of neocolonialism and modern-day imperialism. The ANC, in its own policy statements, insists it rejects neocolonialism, unilateralism, and all forms of domination that undermine the sovereignty and dignity of all nations. Yet, in practice, it sides with China, a power critics accuse of neocolonialism ambition, imperialism, and mass repression, detaining over 1 million Uyghurs, forcing sterilization, erasing culture, and brutally suppressing dissent.
These images shocked the world. They show prisoners being unloaded from a train. Zhang told Sky News that this video most likely shows prisoners from detention centers in Xinjiang being taken to a larger central facility in the region.
China's ambition extends beyond domestic oppression. Across the China Sea, it claims islands, intimidates neighbors, militarizes disputed waters, and actively prepares to invade Taiwan, threatening a sovereign democracy.
This massive mobile pier system could one day be used to deliver an unprecedented number of troops and equipment in an amphibious invasion. It's being built by China in a shipyard constructing vessels that are changing modern warfare. As Beijing escalates its military activity around Taiwan and rapidly builds its naval and civilian fleets, China's threat to seize the island could be coming closer to reality.
To be able to deliver vehicles at huge volume straight to the beach without having to capture a port changed the calculus of whether China could successfully invade Taiwan.
Meanwhile, the ANC parrots Beijing propaganda, fully endorsing the One China policy. The ANC supports China in safeguarding its national sovereignty and territorial integrity. ANC 55th National Congress Resolution 2023. It cuts ties with Taiwan, isolates a functioning democracy, and frames this clear alignment as sovereignty. Economically, South Africa is heavily dependent on China, running a trade deficit of billions, while local manufacturing declines and unemployment rises.
A day anxiously anticipated has finally arrived. The employees walked out these gates with unanswered questions and fear in their faces. Just 2 months ago, these workers' lives were turned upside down when the giant tire manufacturer announced its closure. A reality that many have been too afraid to face. The closure is a major blow to Nelson Mandela Bay's already fragile economy. Regional unemployment now faces an even steeper climb.
ANC reaffirms its steadfast commitment to foreign policy that serves the people of South Africa and advances a more and just, peaceful, equitable, and inclusive world. Yet, the ANC favors Chinese car imports, shutting down local manufacturing, decimating jobs, and deepening dependency. AGOA benefits have been lost. US-South African trade surplus is jeopardized and USAID programs face disruptions, despite billions of US support aimed at encouraging non-alignment with adversaries. This isn't leadership, this is subservience. Condemning the US while embracing China's racial oppression, imperialism, and territorial expansion isn't just hypocrisy, it is complicity. The ANC bends to Beijing, bows to Tehran, and sides with Moscow, then tells Washington, we will not be dictated to. The truth? It is moral bankruptcy. When a government condemns its enemies and ignores the worst crimes of its allies, it is no longer neutral. It has picked a side and becomes complicit in every crime it ignores. From the battlefield in Ukraine to the streets of Tehran and the South China Sea, South Africa's foreign policy consistently favors power over principle. South Africa's foreign policy isn't just made in Pretoria, it's stitched together in foreign capitals. The real failure falls with those who manage foreign policy. DIRCO, the Department of International Relations controlled by the ANC. They isolate nations from allies and align with regimes that oppress, bomb, and kill, all while claiming to be champions of justice. This silence is clearly by design. The ANC turns a blind eye, pocketing secret profits and possibly hiding that very ill-gotten gains in the country it calls allies. Who pays the price? Well, South Africans, of course, unemployed, underfunded, and abandoned by officials who only offer a national dialogue.
To ask ourselves, why do so many people live in abject poverty and so few live lives of opulence?
The ANC tells the world that it stands for justice and human rights, but its record shows the opposite. It docks Russian ships as it bombs civilians, it embraces Iran as it funds terror and oppression of women, it praises China as it erases culture and expands its empire. This isn't progressive internationalism. It is selective morality and complicity with tyranny. South Africa once lifted its voice for the voiceless. Today, it echoes the voices of the oppressors. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe, hit that bell too. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.